Ladies, let's talk about something that's been whispered about in doctors' offices and avoided at dinner tables for far too long. Have you ever felt like your spark is fading, but no one's talking about it? Perhaps you've noticed subtle shifts in your desire, your energy, or even how you view intimacy. Maybe you find yourself quietly pulling away from certain aspects of your relationship, even though you still care deeply for your partner. You're not alone in these feelings. If you're over 60 and have questions about oral intimacy, whether you're curious, concerned, or just want straight answers, you are absolutely not alone. This conversation is long overdue. For decades, I've worked with women just like you, hearing the same questions echo in hushed tones. Is this normal? Is it safe? Do I have to do this? Today we're going to tackle these questions head-on with honesty, respect, and the latest medical facts. My goal is to empower you with knowledge, to help you feel confident and respected in your choices, and to remind you that your intimate life, at every age, is profoundly yours to define. Welcome to ElderCare Insights. I'm Dr. Alan Rivera. Together, we explore real, science-backed ways for women over 60 to thrive again, physically, emotionally, and in their most intimate relationships. If this resonates, click like and let me know. Have you felt like your body changed in ways you didn't expect, or that parts of your intimate life became unspoken? The reality check: you're not alone in this journey. First, let's dispel a myth that's been around since your grandmother's time. The idea that women over 60 don't think about sex, don't want sex, or shouldn't be having sex. This outdated notion has silently burdened generations of women, creating a sense of shame or isolation around natural human desires. It's a relic of a different era, one where women's sexuality, particularly in later life, was often ignored or dismissed. But the truth, according to modern research, paints a vastly different, more vibrant picture. Studies from the National Social Life, Health, and Aging Project reveal that 37% of couples over 60 engage in oral sex regularly. That's more than 1 in 3 couples. So if you're having these thoughts or questions, you are in incredibly good company. You are part of a quiet revolution of women who are embracing their desires and refusing to be defined by ageist stereotypes. Think about it this way. When many of you were raising children in the 1970s and 80s, talking about sex was often taboo, shrouded in silence and unspoken rules. But now, your generation is courageously rewriting the rules about what it means to age gracefully, authentically, and intimately. You have every right to understand your body, your choices, and your health at every stage of life. You've navigated countless societal shifts, broken barriers, and raised families. Why should your right to a fulfilling, intimate life be any different? This isn't about being young again. It's about honoring the wise, experienced woman you are today. Let's talk science. What actually happens during oral sex? Before we dive deeper into the emotional and relationship aspects, let's get the facts straight about what we're actually discussing. When we talk about oral sex, we're referring to using the mouth to stimulate a partner's genitals. This can involve contact with seminal fluid, which is what many women understandably have questions and concerns about. So, what exactly is seminal fluid, often simply called semen, composed of? It's not just one thing. About 5 to 10% of its volume consists of sperm cells, those microscopic travelers on a specific mission. The vast majority, however, a full 90 to 95%, is made up of water, fructose, a natural sugar that provides energy for the sperm, proteins, a small amount of vitamin C, zinc, and various enzymes. Think of it like this. It's similar to other bodily fluids, with a complex but natural composition. It's designed by nature for a very specific biological purpose, and understanding its components helps us demystify it. Now, here's where some online myths need to be thoroughly cleared up. You may have heard sensational claims that swallowing semen can magically improve your skin, help you sleep better, or even extend your life. Let's bring this back to reality. While seminal fluid does indeed contain tiny amounts of beneficial compounds like zinc and protein, the quantities are truly minimal. We're talking about a nutritional contribution roughly equivalent to what you'd get from a spoonful of yogurt. If your goal is truly better skin, more restful sleep, or a longer, healthier life, a balanced diet rich in whole foods, regular physical activity, and a consistent, effective skincare routine will serve you infinitely better than any intimate act. Don't let sensationalized internet claims cloud your judgment or dictate your choices when it comes to your health and well-being. Your body deserves real, science-backed nourishment and care, not unproven fads. The health risks. What you actually need to know. Let's be direct about the health concerns, because this is where accurate, unflinching information can literally protect your life. It's crucial to understand that oral sex, like other forms of sexual contact, can transmit sexually transmitted infections, STIs. This includes serious infections such as HIV, HPV, human papillomavirus, gonorrhea, syphilis, and hepatitis B. This knowledge isn't meant to frighten you, but to equip you with the facts needed to make informed and safe decisions. This information is especially important for women over 60 for several key reasons. Your immune system isn't what it used to be. As we age, our bodies naturally become less efficient at fighting off infections. This is a normal part of the aging process, but it means that what might have been a minor concern in your 30s, an infection that your body easily cleared, could potentially become a more serious or chronic health issue now. Your body's defenses are still strong, but they need more mindful support. HPV is on the rise in older adults. This is a significant and often overlooked trend. Recent data reveals a concerning statistic. People aged 65 and older have seen a 32% increase in HPV diagnoses. This is particularly alarming because certain strains of HPV can lead to oral and throat cancers. The risk is not theoretical. Research indicates that individuals with 6 or more oral sex partners have an 8.5 times higher risk of developing throat cancer. This isn't to say you shouldn't engage, but that awareness and protection become paramount. Many infections show no symptoms initially. This is perhaps one of the most insidious aspects of STIs. Your partner might be carrying an infection without knowing it, and you might not realize you've been exposed until much later, sometimes when symptoms become severe or the infection has progressed. This silent transmission underscores the importance of open communication and regular testing. Let me share a story that illustrates this point with heartbreaking clarity. I knew a woman named Margaret, a vibrant 68-year-old who believed she was in a loving, monogamous relationship for 15 years. She was deeply committed and trusted her partner completely. Then, during a routine health screening, she was diagnosed with HPV. The diagnosis itself was a shock, but the deepest pain came from the realization that her partner had been unfaithful. The betrayal was devastating, tearing at the fabric of her trust and security. But the health scare, the very real threat to her well-being, was terrifying. Margaret's story is a powerful reminder that health and trust are inextricably linked, and that assumptions, however well-intended, can carry significant risks. It highlights why open dialogue and proactive health measures are not about distrust, but about mutual care and respect. The emotional reality, when keeping the peace costs too much. Now let's address the elephant in the room, a quieter yet equally powerful form of pressure. Many women your age confide in me that they engage in oral sex not because they truly enjoy it, but because they feel an unspoken obligation. They worry about disappointing their partner, about maintaining the stability of their marriage, or about being perceived as cold or unloving if they say no. This is a heavy burden, rooted in decades of conditioning and societal expectations. Listen carefully, because this is a fundamental truth that I want you to carry with you. You are not required to do anything sexual that makes you uncomfortable, regardless of your age, marital status, or how long you've been with your partner. Your body is your own, and your boundaries are sacred. Research powerfully supports this. Studies show that sexual coercion, even subtle pressure into sexual acts you don't genuinely desire, can lead to significant emotional distress, including depression, anxiety, and a host of other mental health issues. At your age, after decades of often putting others first, your children, your spouse, your career, your community, you not only have the right, but the responsibility to put your own comfort, dignity, and well-being at the very top of your priority list. You have earned the right to say no without guilt, to honor your authentic feelings, and to protect your peace of mind. Think about it this way. If your daughter or granddaughter came to you and said her partner was pressuring her into sexual acts she didn't want, what would you tell her? You would likely tell her unequivocally that she deserves better. You'd emphasize that true love does not and should not require the sacrifice of her dignity. You'd assure her that a good, loving partner would respect her boundaries, listen to her needs, and cherish her comfort. The profound truth is that the very same principles apply to you. You are just as worthy of respect, understanding, and uncoerced intimacy as any younger woman. Your wisdom and experience mean you are more, not less, deserving of a deeply respectful and consensual intimate life. What healthy sexuality looks like after 60? So, if it's not about obligation, what is healthy sexuality in later life? The research offers a beautiful and affirming answer. It's not just about intercourse. It's a much broader, richer tapestry of connection. Studies show that for women over 60, activities like kissing, cuddling, intimate touching, and deeply personal conversations are often more closely linked to overall life satisfaction and happiness than intercourse itself. For many women, emotional intimacy and physical closeness, the feeling of truly being seen and cherished, matter far more than specific sexual acts. This is about connection, not just performance. It's about shared vulnerability and affection. Consider the story of Dorothy, whose experience resonates with recent research findings. Dorothy married young, in an era when women weren't expected to know much about their own sexual pleasure. Intimacy was often framed as a duty. She endured an unfulfilling first marriage, marked by a sense of obligation rather than mutual joy. But in her 50s, Dorothy, with newfound courage, divorced and later entered a second marriage. It was in this new chapter that she truly discovered that sex could be about more than just doing her duty. With her second husband, and particularly as they entered retirement, they found time to explore intimacy in new, unhurried ways. They focused intently on what brought both of them joy, pleasure, and connection, rather than what they thought they should be doing. They rediscovered hand-holding on walks, long embraces, and the quiet comfort of simply being physically close. Dorothy found a deeper satisfaction in this mutual exploration, a kind of intimacy that felt truly reciprocal and loving. The key insight here is profound. Healthy sexuality at any age is fundamentally about mutual respect, open communication, and genuine desire, not obligation or fear. It's about creating a space where both partners feel safe, desired, and truly connected on their own terms. If you choose to engage, how to protect yourself. If, after careful consideration and open conversation, you decide that oral sex is something you genuinely want to include in your intimate life, here's how to do it as safely and mindfully as possible. This isn't about fear, it's about empowerment through informed choices. Get tested regularly. This applies to both you and your partner. Comprehensive STI screenings are not about distrust. They are about taking proactive care of each other's health and affirming a commitment to mutual well-being. Many STIs are asymptomatic, meaning you can carry them without any visible signs. Regular testing is the only way to know your status and protect both yourself and your partner. It's a foundational step in any healthy sexual relationship at any age. Use protection. Barrier methods are incredibly effective at significantly reducing your risk of infection while still allowing for intimacy. This includes flavored condoms, which can be enjoyable and reduce the risk for the receptive partner, and dental dams. A dental dam is a thin, square piece of latex or silicone placed over the vulva or anus during oral sex. While they may feel unfamiliar at first, they are a simple yet powerful tool for protection. Learning about and using these methods is a sign of maturity and care, not a disruption to intimacy. Pay attention to oral health. Your mouth is a sensitive area. If you have any cuts, sores, or even recent dental work, like a new filling or an extraction site, it's wise to wait until you're completely healed before engaging in oral contact. Any open wound, however small, can create an entry point for bacteria or viruses, increasing the risk of transmission. Prioritize healing and good oral hygiene. Trust your instincts. This is perhaps the most important form of protection. If something doesn't feel right, physically or emotionally, it is always okay to stop. Your comfort, your safety, and your genuine desire are paramount. This isn't about being prudish, it's about self-respect and self-preservation. Your inner wisdom, honed over decades of life experience, is a powerful guide. Listen to it. The bigger picture: sexuality and aging in America. Let's zoom out for a moment and look at the broader context of sexuality in later life. You are part of a generation that lived through the seismic shifts of the sexual revolution of the 1960s and 70s. While the world around you was changing rapidly, many of you were likely too busy raising families, building careers, and navigating the demands of daily life to fully participate in or truly embrace those changing attitudes about sexuality. The cultural conversation shifted, but your personal reality might have remained quite traditional. Now, in your 60s and beyond, you have a unique and powerful opportunity to define sexuality on your own terms, free from the societal pressures and expectations of your youth. This isn't about recapturing youth, but about embracing the freedom and self-knowledge that comes with age. In fact, research challenges the outdated stereotype that sexuality simply diminishes with age. For example, studies from the Berlin Aging Study show that about 1/3 of adults aged 60 to 82 actually report more sexual activity and thoughts than the average younger adult. This suggests that for many people, later life can indeed be a time of sexual freedom, exploration, and renewed interest, unburdened by concerns about pregnancy or societal expectations tied to youth. It's a time to explore what truly brings you pleasure and connection. However, this same research often reveals significant gender differences in how sexual satisfaction is perceived. For women, sexual satisfaction is more closely tied to emotional intimacy, deep connection, and the overall quality of the relationship. It's about feeling loved, cherished, and understood. For men, satisfaction is often more linked to the frequency of sexual activity. Understanding these inherent differences and acknowledging them without judgment can be a powerful tool. It can help you communicate more effectively with your partner about what you actually want and need, fostering a deeper, more satisfying, intimate life for both of you. It's about finding common ground and mutual fulfillment, not just fulfilling a role. Navigating relationship dynamics. If you're in a long-term relationship, changing sexual dynamics can certainly be challenging to navigate, particularly if you're trying to introduce new boundaries or explore different forms of intimacy. The key is to approach these conversations with both honesty and empathy. Here are some strategies that have worked beautifully for other women and their partners. Start the conversation outside the bedroom. The bedroom, with its inherent intimacy, can sometimes feel like a high-pressure environment for sensitive discussions. Choose a neutral time and place, perhaps over coffee, during a walk, or while cooking together, to discuss your feelings, concerns, and preferences. Frame it not as a criticism of your partner, but as an opportunity to understand each other better, to deepen your connection, and to evolve your intimate life in a way that truly serves both of you. Focus on what you do want, not just what you don't want. This is a subtle but powerful shift in communication. Instead of saying, "I don't like oral sex," try phrasing it positively. "I really enjoy it when we take time for cuddling and kissing or exploring other forms of physical closeness." Express your desires for connection, tenderness, or specific acts that bring you joy. This approach feels less like rejection and more like an invitation to a different, perhaps richer form of intimacy. Consider couples counseling. Sometimes navigating these sensitive conversations requires a skilled facilitator. A trained therapist specializing in relationships or sexual health can provide a safe, structured environment for both partners to express their feelings, needs, and desires without judgment. Many couples find that working with a professional helps them communicate more effectively about topics that feel emotionally charged or difficult to discuss on their own. It's an investment in your relationship's health and longevity. Remember that good relationships evolve. The intimacy and sexual dynamics that worked in your 40s might not be what you need or desire in your 60s, and that is perfectly normal and healthy. Healthy relationships are not static. They adapt to changing needs, desires, and circumstances throughout life. Be open to new possibilities, new expressions of love, and a redefined sense of intimacy that aligns with who you both are now. This evolution can be a source of profound strength and renewed connection. When to seek professional help. Sometimes what appear to be sexual concerns are actually symptoms of underlying health issues that need medical attention. It's important not to dismiss these signs. Consider talking to your healthcare provider if you experience any of the following. Pain during any sexual activity. This is never normal and warrants investigation. It could be a sign of dryness, infection, or other conditions. Unusual discharge or bleeding. These are clear indicators that something may be amiss and require medical evaluation to rule out infections or other gynecological issues. Persistent discomfort or burning. Whether during or after sexual activity, this sensation could point to an infection, inflammation, or skin irritation. Significant changes in sexual desire or function. While libido can fluctuate, a dramatic or sustained change might be linked to hormonal shifts, medications, or underlying health conditions. Emotional distress related to sexual activities. If intimacy causes anxiety, sadness, fear, or a sense of obligation, it's crucial to seek support. Your emotional well-being is just as important as your physical health. The good news is that many healthcare providers are now better trained and more comfortable discussing sexual health with older adults. There's a growing recognition within the medical community that sexuality remains an important, valid, and enriching aspect of life throughout all stages. Don't be embarrassed or shy away from these conversations. Your doctor has heard it all before. And addressing these concerns is a crucial part of comprehensive health care. You deserve to feel comfortable and confident in all aspects of your health, including your intimate life. The bottom line is, your body, your choice. As we wrap up this vital conversation, I want to leave you with this fundamental truth. At 60 plus, you have earned the absolute right to make decisions about your body based entirely on what feels right for you, not what others expect. This isn't just a right, it's a culmination of a lifetime of experience and self-discovery. Whether you choose to engage in oral sex or not, whether you are in a committed relationship or single, whether you are sexually active or not, these are your choices to make, driven by your desires, your comfort, and your values. The research is abundantly clear. Sexual satisfaction in later life is far more about quality than quantity, more about genuine emotional connection than specific acts, and profoundly more about mutual respect and open communication than simply meeting someone else's expectations. It's about feeling desired for who you are, not just what you do. Your generation broke barriers in the workplace, challenged social norms, and redefined what it meant to be a woman in America. You forged paths that previous generations could only dream of. Now you have the incredible opportunity to redefine what healthy sexuality looks like in your golden years, not just for yourselves, but for the women who will follow in your footsteps. This is your legacy to create. Remember this deeply important truth. Love doesn't require you to sacrifice your comfort, your dignity, or your health. A partner who truly cares about you, who genuinely loves and respects you, will unequivocally want you to feel safe, respected, and genuinely enthusiastic about your intimate life together. Anything less isn't love. It's something else entirely. something you, with your wisdom and experience, absolutely do not need to tolerate. You deserve relationships that honor your whole self, your wisdom, your experience, your boundaries, and your undeniable right to say both yes and no based on what feels authentic and true to you. At this stage of life, settling for less isn't just unnecessary, it's a profound disservice to the strong, capable, and wise woman you have become. Your body hasn't failed you, it's just been waiting for you to respond. The conversation about sexuality after 60 is just beginning. By talking openly and honestly about these topics, you are helping to create a world where future generations of older women will feel more comfortable discussing their needs, concerns, and desires without shame or hesitation. That, my dear friends, is a legacy worth creating. What you're feeling isn't weakness. It's feedback from a body that wants to come alive again. With the right support, it can. If you're ready to stop feeling invisible again and start feeling present again, take the first small step. What would it mean to feel like yourself again? Let me know in the comments. We read every one. Subscribe to ElderCare Insights for honest, empowering health advice from someone who respects where you are.